Starting. Yep. We're
Oh, sorry. Great.
we're
Okay.
live.
Awesome. I'm like a little bit starstruck.
Well, this is how it works, right?
Cool. So I'm not sure how much Steve told you about our product,
Okay.
but I don't know. I thought we could maybe start by I can show you. I have it on, so I'll demo it for you.
Okay.
And then just would love to get your thoughts on it.
Okay.
So essentially what we created is it's patent pending, and it's a base layer pant for youth hockey players that essentially helps them get dressed faster and also provides extra protection in areas that are left exposed.
Okay.
So it's worn under the equipment. I'll just show you.
Yeah.
And it's like your pelvic protector, like your Geller, jock, and sock holders, but then we have the shin pad pocket. So kids easily slide their shin pad into place. They don't need to fiddle with the straps or the tape, and then they put their sock over top.
Okay.
And padding at the back of the leg to protect in areas that are currently exposed, and susceptible to flying pucks and stick slashes. And then cut-resistant ankle to protect the Achilles. So instead of putting the Kevlar socks on, it's built into the ankle. And then we have a goalie model as well, which is pretty much the same thing, except no shin pad pockets.
Okay.
And here's the nicer version, not the one that I have, but yeah. So they're made for kids, ages 5 to 13. Yeah.
That's a very cool idea.
Thank you.
Why? How did you come up with the idea?
So I was playing hockey. I've been playing since I was 8, and hated the process of getting dressed and then leaving my games, especially with like bruises at the back of the leg, because I'd always get like slashed there. And then so I came up with the idea in my 4th year new venture creation class at Laurier.
Okay.
And it was about 5 years ago now. And I pitched to the class. The class said that I had about the most votes in the class. And I was like, okay, it's actually a good idea, and kept going with it. So, now we're at that stage where we've got our first 1,000 unit order of inventory in December, and we're still in our soft launch phase.
Which store?
So right now we're just working with a few independents.
Yeah.
We didn't our order of inventory, not a big PO.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. So right now we're just working with a few independents. Our goal is to be in about 4 or 5. Just because it's such a new idea for a product, we want to make sure that it sells and we get 100% sell-through rate in those stores before we scale. So we're launching actually next week and doing heavy marketing over the summer.
Okay.
Awareness, yeah. So we're still pretty new. We were on Dragon's Den a few weeks ago, which was a great experience. But that's kind of where we're at right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
You probably can't tell me if you got a deal or not, huh?
I can't tell you. I signed an NDA, but I can tell you it went really, really well.
Oh, good. Awesome.
Yeah. You can make all the assumptions you need to make.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that, my experience with hockey was basically, I went to my first hockey practice by myself, and I was 5 years old, and, instead of shin pads, I had Sears catalogs that I used for shin pads.
Really?
Yeah. And so, I've always been a big proponent of kids who play hockey, getting themselves dressed.
Yeah.
Is so important. I can't stand when parents drag their kids' bags into the rink and get them dressed and all that. That just tells me that the kid doesn't want to play hockey. You know what I mean? That's basically what it is. And all these parents, have dreams and aspirations for their kids, but at the end of the day, the kid has to want it more than the parents do, right? And so I love your idea because it makes it easier for kids to get dressed.
Exactly. And sorry, when you talk, I'm just going to turn my camera off just so the recording doesn't have my face.
Okay.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah. when kids, because we used to have I ran a hockey school for 15 years, and by the end of the hockey school, all the people that worked at my hockey school were completely exhausted, not because of hanging out with the kids. They were exhausted because they had to get so many kids dressed, so many kids ready to get on the ice, especially the little guys, and so, I think that your idea is awesome, and it provides more protection, et cetera, et cetera. So, I think it's outstanding. I really like it.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
You'll have to send me some.
Yeah, I will for sure.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to get your thoughts on this because we are working on adult sizes because we have a lot of interest.
Yeah.
Being in the NHL, everyone's like, oh, would this product be good for the NHL? And, honestly, I don't know if, I like the shin pad pocket, but I don't know if NHL players would really, go for that.
Yeah.
What do you think? Like, I mean, we were thinking of maybe just doing the goalie model with the extra protection, and then,
I still use a garter belt.
Do you?
Hold up my socks. Yeah, and I use a shoelace to tie my pants, tight. So, I'm a bit old school, but I would go to see if you can't get into the Leafs training camp this year and get a meeting with the trainers and say, hey, we got this cool product. Now, guys might wear it for practice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They'll start wearing it in practice. If they like it, then that would probably transfer over into the games. I'm not sure if they would want to be putting their socks over top of you know what I mean? Because it's already hot in the building. And so, you put 2 layers of that material on your legs, and your legs are going to get pretty hot. But, to each his own. I think that, guys have different preferences. Guys have different comfort levels, when they put their equipment on. So, look at the Dallas Stars. They lost one of their best players to Achilles injury, which was Tyler Seguin. So, if you have proven results where it'll cut down on that happening,
Absolutely.
Who knows?
Absolutely. For sure.
Like I know the Flames trainers very, very well.
Yeah.
So I can maybe open the door for you there, but
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So, I have a couple more questions.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and this is kind of just generic, but I was just wondering, what advice do you have for young people who hope to make a living in hockey?
Well, I always sort of go back to, my minor hockey days. And, when I was 6 years old, I moved to a little town in Manitoba called Russell, Manitoba. And the reason why we moved there was my dad was an awesome hockey player. And so they wanted my dad to play senior hockey in Russell. And they gave him a job in the town, and we moved there. And one of the most amazing things happened when I got there was it just so happened that the 13 best athletes in this little town of Russell, Manitoba were all 6 years old, and all my age. Mm-hmm. And not only that, we had 3 incredible, amazing fathers who became our coaches and our mentors. And I played with that group for 9 years. It was same 13 guys, same coaches for the whole entire time I was there. And they taught us 3 things about being a part of a team, but I think more importantly about life and what it takes to be successful. And the first thing we learned was about respect. And was very simple. We started respect with please and thank you. When we met people, we extended our hand, we looked them in the eye, and we said, "Nice to meet you, ma'am. Nice to meet you, sir." It was never, Mrs. whatever or Mr. whatever. It was always sir and madam. Every rink that we ever entered, we left it exactly the same way as we entered it. Every dressing room, there was never tape on the floor. There was never pop cans or chip bags, or, there was never any garbage, right?
Yeah.
And it was because we respected the guy who got up at 5 or 6 in the morning and went to the rink and, opened the rink, flooded the ice, made it available for us to play. The second thing was, to love and care for your teammates, no matter what. And that meant, making everybody feel important, that everybody had a role on the team. Everybody had a different skill level. And, it was our job as the guys who could play the game, who had skills, skating, shooting, passing, all these things. It was our job to take these guys and teach them how to play. And and then the third thing was about consequences, that we are responsible for our choices and our actions and our decisions, and which meant if we weren't doing good in school, we didn't get to play. If we disrespected people, we didn't get to play, et cetera, et cetera. And what happened was, we became this amazing, incredible little hockey team, and people used to come from all over Manitoba and Saskatchewan to play, because of how we played together, basically, and how we acted when we weren't, on the ice. And what happened was, with that same 13 kids and the 3 coaches and the 13 sets of parents was, we won 3 provincial championships in hockey and 3 provincial championships in baseball with the same group of people. But it was built on respect, love, and caring, and consequences. That was pretty simple. And essentially that's why we put our kids in sports, is to learn, these qualities, these morals, what it takes to, to be a part of a team, is incredibly important for the rest of your life, so, that blueprint, for success, which I learned when I was 6 years old playing hockey in this little town. I've always said, once you're successful, you have the blueprint for success. And once you have that, you have it for the rest of your life. And as in my professional life, I have 6 championship rings, and all different, all different levels. I have a World Junior, a Turner Cup, which is the equivalent to the AHL championship, which I played in the International Hockey League. So there used to be the International League and the AHL, and then they merged together several years ago. But I played for Salt Lake, and we won the championship there. Then I won a Stanley Cup in '89 with the Flames, '91 Canada Cup with Team Canada, and then 2002 Olympic gold medal. And then I went to Ireland and played 1 year at the end of my career for the Belfast Giants, and we won the championship there. So, that blueprint, like I said, for success, I always had that, and I, like I said, I learned that when I was, I was very small and very young.
That's great. Awesome. And I just curious, I know you're a motivational speaker now.
Yes.
What made you get into that?
Well, it sort of just kind of fell out of the sky. um, obviously, I I had a lot of problems at the end of my hockey career, and a lot of them were sort of remnants of my childhood, and those traumatic experiences that I experienced in childhood, um, left me with a lot of emotional pain and emotional scars, and I carried those things throughout my life, and I quickly discovered that alcohol and drugs and all these addictions were sort of like medicine that would help me sort of deal with with the emotional pain and scars that were left behind, and but my addiction basically um, ended my hockey career, and so I'd been retired from hockey for quite a while, had no idea what the rest of my life was going to look like, and so a chance meeting with an old media guy in Calgary here, at a Flames alumni golf tournament. Um, sort of him and I went back and forth in this conversation. At the end of the conversation, I said, "Do you know anybody that'd be willing to write a book with me?" And he said, "Funny you should ask." He said, "My wife is a writer." And so I said, "Well, can I meet her?" And he said yes. And so I met with her, I think 3 days after that conversation. And then 3 days after I met with her, I wrote Playing the Fire, my first book. And so basically in this book, I didn't leave anything out. I was incredibly vulnerable in the book. I didn't leave anything out. And so I think it was like 4 days before I was going to Toronto to launch the book. And I kind of sat back and I was like, you know what? Like I'm very afraid, because I didn't know how, the public was going to react to, what was in the book. And, I went to Toronto. I did 4 full days of media. I was on every radio show, TV show, you name it. And, I was even on the red couch there with Strombolopolis. So, and, it was a difficult 4 days because, the media, all they wanted to do was sort of re-victimize me. And, I wanted to get a message of hope and healing out. And so, being a guy that's handled the media for most of my life, I've been in the spotlight since, I can remember. And, I had 5 main points that I wanted to get across to people that, that healing is possible, and that, you can make drastic changes in your life, and those changes, will be for the better. And so, my expectations for the book were somewhat low. And so we do the first book signing in Toronto at the Eaton Center downtown, the Indigo Chapters, which is I believe it's the biggest bookstore in Canada. And so I show up at this book signing, and 400 people show up at this book signing. I'm like, man, this is weird, this is strange.
You're so humble.
I'm not J.K. Rowling, I'm just a, hockey player from Russell, Manitoba, who just happened to write a book. But anyways, I start signing books, and I see this guy out of the corner of my eye. And he's got my book clutched against his chest, and his face is in the floor, and he's walking really slow. And so I followed him all the way in the line. And And he gets to the front of the line, he puts the book on the table, looks me in the eye and says, "Me too." And that's when I sort of knew, what the rest of my life was going to look like, was, helping people who had similar experiences such as myself. Because after he said "me too," he also said, "I read your book," and basically said, "This is my story." You take out all the hockey, and my life experiences, is the same as yours, and thank you for the inspiration. But more importantly, I can't imagine how much courage it took for this guy to get to this book signing. And as much as he needed to say "me too," I needed to hear "me too" as well. And, since that first "me too" 7 years ago, we've had over 600,000 other people, either directly or indirectly say these two words, "me too." And so, I go out on this national book tour all across Canada. And then shortly after that, people started phoning and asking me to speak. And I had not done a lot of speaking, but, it just sort of came natural. And I'm basically talking about myself, and nobody knows the subject of me better than I do. And yeah, and so, this has sort of turned out into, I'm on the road 200 days of the year. I do 75 to 80 speaking engagements, every year. And we've helped, I don't even know. It's just unbelievable how many people we've been able to reach out and help, and help other people find their own voice. And, it's been really incredible. And it's funny when you said, you're so humble, but, I had to learn to be humble, because when you're playing in the NHL and you're a young kid and you're making all this money, your ego, it's very ego driven. And, and when I lost my career to addictions, that was a pretty incredible, humbling experience. But I realized that, being humble is a way better way to reach people. Being vulnerable is a incredible way to reach people. And, and one of the amazing things that I get to do, or I've done in the last probably year, 2 years, is I speak in maximum security prisons to the, sort of the baddest dudes on the planet. And, rapists, murderers, child molesters, you name it, the full gamut. And what those guys have taught me is they've taught me compassion. And, I think that the world doesn't have enough compassion. We want to point the finger. We want to compare so that we feel better about ourselves. And, and it was funny because I was speaking to, I think I was in Stony Mountain Penitentiary in Manitoba. And about halfway through my talk, I sort of just kind of stopped, and I was staring out into the audience. And really what I was staring at was I was staring at myself, 10 years ago, that sadness, that emptiness, I could see it in their eyes, and I know that look very well. And I've experienced, how those guys feel. And so, that sort of, humility pushed me into compassion. And now that I have compassion, I'm a way better speaker. I'm a way better person. You know, I don't judge people. I don't point the finger at people. And, you know, I don't live in, you know, that sort of that negative space that I used to live in with anger and resentment and all these things that sort of, that don't allow people to move forward in the, you know, in the right direction. So
Very interesting.
mm.
Well, you're very inspiring.
Oh, thanks.
I was telling Steve, I said, you know, there's no one else that we'd rather have behind our product than Theo Fleury. It's awesome.
Mm.
Yeah, so I don't want to take up too much of your time here. I'll just turn the video back on for a second.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, and if you're not comfortable with it, that's totally fine. But I'm wondering if you could maybe give like a testimonial, maybe just something like I wish my kids were wearing these or something about the product, and just kind of say the product's name, like the New York Protective Base Layer. If you're not, like, I totally understand, but we can like use it for marketing.
Okay. You know, I would probably need to see the product.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem.
Before I would endorse anything.
Yeah, for sure.
And Steve can get a hold of my assistant, and you guys can send a pair, and then I'll take a look at them, and then I'll take a picture with them, and, you know, etc. And then I'll tweet it out, Facebook it, whatever you want me to do.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and then just let me know about costs, obviously, as well. But that would be amazing.
Yeah, what are you selling them for?
So the player model retails for $130 and goalie for $115. So it is a premium product, but you'll see when you feel it too, the quality is amazing. It's like outstanding. So
and they'll last forever.
Yeah, they last forever. Like, I mean, I can't even tell you the number of times I've demoed it. Like, these are my pair that I wear in hockey, and I've demoed this shin pad pocket probably close to 5,000 times.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Holding in place. I beat them up. I like put them in the dryer, and, you know, they're just so durable. Mm-hmm. And just the feedback we've gotten from our customers as well is just they love it. And you can just tell. So yeah, like, I mean, I'll send you out a pair, and then just let me know what you think. And
yeah, of course. What was I going to say? Yeah, because, you know, if they can be passed down from kid to kid, then it's not, you know.
Yeah, and they definitely can. And that was the number one thing. I mean, our costs on this order were high.
I can imagine.
Other manufacturers as well, but
where are they made?
They're made in China.
Okay.
Yeah, so we wanted to get them made in Canada, but it's so hard. It's not just about the cost, but even our partner that helped us design them in Hamilton, they just didn't even have the machinery to do it, because just working with the type of fabric and then the cut resistant, you need special sewing machines. So we're just not as advanced here, unfortunately. But yeah, it was made in China. The factory that produced our product also produces for Adidas. So yeah, it's a reputable, and we worked with an agent as well out of California. So we didn't communicate with the factory directly, just kind of mitigate the risk a little bit in terms of quality. So yeah.
Now, will that price eventually go down?
Yeah, so I mean, right now that's our pricing, our introductory price. We're doing our launch next week, and we're doing introductory pricing until June 30th.
Yeah.
Player being $99, and then the goalie being $89. Do you mean the price, the retail price, or the cost? Yeah. So I think, honestly, I think we need to get the price down like under 100.
Yeah.
I mean, right now it's high, but it's not high to the rep parents. Like, we're going after parents that with competitive kids, and they want the best equipment, and they spend a fortune on equipment. We're not going after people that will go to Canadian Tire and buy all their hockey equipment for their kid for like $150.
Right.
So, but I think the $99 price point will probably be where we're going to sit in a year from now. But we're just kind of testing and dabbling in the pricing right now and figuring out what will make it sell best. But I think, like, from the feedback we've gotten from the market, I mean, there's a lot that think it's fine, but there's a lot that are like, it should be like closer to the 99. Because then it's like, still, it's a premium product, like positioned against like even the best base layers, like $60, $70 of Bauer ones or Under Armour. But it's still like, we still want to make sure that it's positioned in people's mind is better because it just has so many other components to it.
Yeah. Well, you know, that thing that Messier's doing right now, they're providing equipment and ice time for $200 a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, for an extra $100, you get a full set of gear and ice time too. So, you know, so yeah, but you just got to prove it out, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just the feedback from the customers that we do have, they just love it.
Yeah.
This is amazing. And
it's not too hot having.
No, so it's a really lightweight material, and we have mesh.
Oh, okay.
Mesh throughout, yeah. So it's very breathable. It's not hot at all. Yeah. So yeah.
So eventually, do you want one of the big 3 hockey equipment companies to buy you out? Would that be ideal, or a royalty or something?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like our licensing is something we'd be looking for. We're still patent pending right now. It's been like about 3 years, but
I know.
Forever. But I mean, right now we're just trying to build the business, and then we're working on other products as well. So it's not just kind of a one-trick pony type deal. Right. So we have working on other additional SKUs, and then I mean, if the opportunity arises, then yeah, that's a good exit for sure. But until then, we're still just going to build our brand and or whatnot. But yeah, definitely looking into that.
Now, I was just thinking, like, do you guys have a top as well?
Working on it.
Okay, cool.
Prototype phase right now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. A thing with the upper piece, it's really tough to accommodate elbow pads.
Right.
There's so many different types. So
couldn't you build the elbow pad right into the top?
Yeah, like we're also thinking like just, creating our own elbow pads, like using like a 3D printer or something to just, use it, like doing something different so they accommodate our elbow pads and they're comfortable, because I'm so bad, like I don't wear elbow pads.
Oh.
My elbows are butchered.
Yeah.
Because I hate them. I hate the feeling of them so much. I find them like so restricting. So if we could create, more comfortable elbow pads, then awesome.
Well, yeah, wouldn't it be cool to just sort of jump like a jumpsuit, zip in, zip out? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
That would make it even faster. Because when I played back in the late 80s and early 90s, like guys like Guy Lafleur and Chris Chelios, their shoulder pads were attached to their suspenders on their equipment. Like really? they wore nothing on top. So if you can make them durable and protective, but the fastest growing demographic in hockey are the recreational guys.
Yeah.
Guys that have never played the game before. So, this stuff for them would be awesome because, they want to be fast. They want to get in, they want to get out, a lot of them work, and, a lot of them play crazy hours. And so, that convenience part of, showing up at the rink 15 minutes before they play as opposed to 45 would be, huge, right?
Absolutely.
Because it's very fast and easy to get into this stuff. So, and it's all, I haven't seen too many guys in the locker room who still use a garter belt like I do, but they have those Velcro shorts, and they got all this new technology, and they can afford to pay that, right? Because they all work and they all have jobs, and so yeah.
I can't believe you use a garter belt.
Oh yeah.
So old school. I used to use one too.
Yeah, I love it.
I talk to parents and they're like, "What's a garter belt nowadays?"
I know. Yeah, I sometimes play with young guys in their 20s, and they're like, "What the hell is that?" I go, "Well, this is how we used to do it." you know.
That just proves the point that like when you get in these habits of getting dressed and everyone is just so particular, that's where like we need to get the young kids using this product and developing a habit so they don't know any better or know any
Exactly.
yeah, because like sorry, go ahead.
Once parents see that they don't have to get their kids dressed, they'll be very, very happy.
Yeah, exactly.
So, now, you guys obviously have a website, and do you show how easy it is in video and stuff to get into?
So we actually have a video. If you check out our website, on the homepage, there's it shows a kid getting dressed, the same kid getting dressed a traditional way, and then with our product, and it explains the features. It's just kind of just a explainer education type video. We're actually launching a big campaign next week, essentially highlighting chaotic moments in the dressing room. So our hashtag is End the Chaos.
Oh, cool.
And we have a really good video that we're going to be doing some heavy marketing with. So I'll make sure to get you the link so you can check it out.
Awesome. So what is the exact name of the website? I'll just.
It's oniric.ca. So www. And then ONEIRIC.ca.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I hope I was helpful.
You were, and it's just like I'm still like starstruck. It's so cool. I'm gonna tell all my friends, be like, yeah, I just chatted with Theo Fleury for an hour.
Well,
it's really awesome, and I really appreciate your feedback and you taking the time on your Saturday morning to chat.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome.
It's only 9 o'clock here, so.
Oh, where are you? You're in
Calgary.
Calgary. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
So yeah, I'm just having my coffee, and I watched the first 2 periods of the Finland-Russia game. So
nice.
Yeah.
Who's winning?
What's that?
Who is winning?
Finland 3-1.
They have good ice hockey there.
Yeah, and then Canada plays U.S. In an hour. So.
Oh.
Yeah. So I still watch. So.
Yeah. Do you play anymore?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Not as much.
Like rec? Beer league?
No. I only do charity stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Too many donkeys out there still living the dream, you know?
Sure.
Yeah. I go, you're playing against me and I'm 50 years old. You have no chance of making the NHL, so please stop slashing me.
Yeah. I know. People are really intense. Like,
or I'll have to hurt you badly.
So funny. Yeah, I play in a co-ed ball hockey league on Wednesdays, and they're like, some people are so intense. It's like the league is called Just for Fun. Like, chill out.
Kidding.
I get like butt checked. I'm like, okay, guy, like, back off.
Yeah. I gotta go to work tomorrow.
Pardon?
I gotta go to work tomorrow, right? That's what you said.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well,
all right. Well, thanks so much again.
Yeah, no problem.
I think Dave and Steve said you'll be able to get the video to me.
Yeah.
Cool.
No problem.
Yeah. Well, enjoy your weekend.
Yeah, you too. And
we'll be in touch soon. I'll get your address for the.
Yeah.
Ship that out.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks. Bye, Theo.
Take care. Bye-bye.